So if you want to learn how to assess a sell-through rate on eBay, this video is for you. Put it simply for you, a sell-through rate is a way to assess the demand of an item. It also gives us an idea what that item will sell for and how fast it might sell. So not understanding how to assess the sell-through rate of an item could truly be detrimental to your business, but it also could create issues down the road. If you're buying a lot of stuff that is just not going to move very quickly, you could start to get top heavy or bloated with your inventory. And if you're like me, somebody who's starting out and maybe operating out of your house, you probably don't have a whole lot of space to store things with. So this is pretty important to understand. So don't be intimidated to assess the sell-through rate of an item. This is actually very easy. All it requires is for you to be able to navigate through the search bar on eBay, as well as access the filters. And then from there, all you gotta do is apply a little bit of elementary math. Today, for an example, I'm simply just using a pair of Ariat M4 FR low-rise bootcut jeans for men. These are 32 by 34. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna head over to the search bar and I'm gonna plug all of that in. You can see I have the item in question typed into the search bar. All I'm going to do now is hit search. So at the bottom of the screen, our search result shows there are 38 pairs of Ariat jeans in that size available for sale. So on the very same page that says there are 38 available pairs of Ariat jeans for sale, you're going to want to go to the top left-hand corner and hit that filter button. So once you've made your way over to the filter page, the very top box will ask for condition. And in our case, we're going to hit that and check off used. Once you've specified that the item is used, you're just going to want to simply scroll down the filter box until you come across the completed items and sold items buttons. Once you find those buttons, all you're going to want to do is toggle over till they light up blue, and we are on our way to figuring out how many items have sold. So now that we've made it to the sold and completed page, you're going to want to scroll to the very bottom. And as you can see, it says 16 results or 16 pairs of Ariat jeans in that specific size have sold. Here's where we're going to have to do some elementary school math, but that's okay. We're going to cheat and use our calculator. So we're going to take the number 16, which is the amount of jeans that have sold in the last 90 days, and we're going to divide that by 38, which is the amount of jeans that are currently available for sale on eBay. Once we take 16 and divide it by 38, it's going to spit out a number, and the number we came up with was 42. You could simply move the decimal point over 2 spaces, or you can take that number and multiply it by 100. That's probably a little bit easier. Once you do that, it will spit out another number, and here is the percentage or the sell-through rate for those jeans. It's 42%. So I hope that helps you. It's pretty easy. So we figured out that these Ariat M4 low-rise bootcut jeans have a 42% sell-through rate. But you're probably asking yourself, well, what does that all mean? What is this percentage going to do to help me with my sales? So typically, most sell-through rates are generally based off of a 90-day selling period. And so if an item is purchased and it has a 100% sell-through rate, that typically means that it will hopefully sell 100% of the time in that 90-day period. And so hopefully that helps you to better understand sell-through rates. I will say this though, that it is not uncommon to sometimes come across some items that are very, very in demand, and those could have above 100% sell-through rate. I think the highest I've ever found was like 270%. So if you're finding something that's 100% and above, you best pick it up because that means it's probably going to sell pretty quickly. Now, the other caveat is the opposite of that. If you find an item and it has a very low sell-through rate, I would probably pass on it, but there are some things to think about. If you can pick it up for super cheap, well, then maybe it's worth your investment. If you have the storage capability or you have the room to give it real estate, then maybe it's worth picking up as well. My thought is this though, if you're a smaller reseller and you're operating out of a small area to store goods, you're probably going to want to shoot for items that sell pretty quick. That way you can move them and buy more items. You will, however, see big time resellers, big time content creators on YouTube who have warehouses that typically buy into items with very low sell-through rates. But that's simply because they have the real estate, they have the room, and they have the time to wait to sell it. So I hope that helps you. So I did use a very generalized example with those Ariat FR jeans, but just know that you can really whittle down your search when you're in the filter box, especially with clothing, by making sure that you state on that filter tab whether it is, again, new or used, and then make sure that you are putting your size dimensions down, make sure that you're putting the color of the garment down, and you could go even as far as to trying to specify the materials the garment is made of, and even the pattern. But don't overwhelm yourself, just try to get the basics down first. Just a couple more tips for you. If you're assessing a sell-through rate, and especially with clothing, please understand that if you look up a winter jacket in the middle of summer, those sell-through rates are going to be skewed due to the seasonal nature of that item and what time of year it is. So I'm just going to leave it at that. This is not an exact science, but it is something that we can try to measure and quantify to help us to be more accurate and to try to predict the supply and demand ratio for the item. So to recap this whole video for you, essentially all we're doing is we're going to search that item out. We're going to specify if it's new or used. We're going to punch in the size, the color, the condition, the materials, and then from there, we're going to assess how many of those items have sold. We're going to remember that number, and then we're going to go back and look and see how many items are available for sale, and we're going to take the sold number and divide it by the available number and multiply that by 100, and then that gives us a percentage. That percentage tells us how quickly the item will sell in a 90-day period. This really isn't that hard, but trust me when I say it, the faster you can get at doing this, the better off you'll be. You'll constantly see people in thrift stores doing this, at estate sales and garage sales. Those are the big time players. Those are the people who know they don't want to waste their money on items that won't sell fast or won't sell for much at all. So empower yourself by doing a little bit of practice, a little bit of research, and just know the more you know about the items you're selling, the better off you'll be. So if you've liked this video, please reach out there, punch that like button for me. I would appreciate it. If you'd like to subscribe, it's that box up there. And if you'd like to watch more videos where I go out and I search for undervalued and underappreciated new and used items, clothing and shoes, please hit that box right there.